if I can't figure out my iPad. We'll be starting in a few minutes because it's going to be really hard to read this, any comments that might come through. So if you happen to be on here right now, if you could leave me a comment, because I'm going to see if I can get this worked out. Ooh, I think I'm gonna figure this out. Okay, there's me. I see myself on the iPad today, so maybe if you have, yay, I could see the messages. Hi, Pat, welcome. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so much easier. Hi, Christina. All right, I'm so glad I figured that out because it was really hard to read those comments with my last live, which was my very first live, and I'm excited to keep doing these lives, and my goal is to bring them to you once a week on a regular basis. So far, the Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time has been working really good for me. Hi, Mary, Susan, Tina, Lisa, Donna, Angela, hey, welcome. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to have you all. Debbie, hi. And Nancy, great. Well, I don't know if you've ever done, I'm just going to give it a few more minutes because it's technically scheduled at 4. I was just hoping I can iron out those details there. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so much easier to be able to read. Got my iPad right in front of my face so I can see your messages this time. So I don't know if you have made one of these before, but we're going to be doing the Rose Wreath on the Unique in the Creek board. It's one of my favorite wreaths to make. They're so fun and so beautiful, and this will be a red one that we're going to do. Hi, Marie. Hi, Ginger. Wileen. Hi, welcome. And we're going to be doing the red rose, and this Sunday for my tutorial I have a patriotic one that I'm almost done with. I just have to add the stars. It's an American flag, so you can do a lot of different versions of these roses. It's the same technique. All right, okay. Let me just give it another minute here, and then we're going to start because it kind of takes a little bit. So I got most of the petals prepped. I saved a few to prep with you, and we're going to get started. But the prep time is what takes the most time for this wreath. Putting it together, it goes pretty quick, but it's just a really fun one to do. And I forgot you need some clips. Has anybody worked on the Unique in the Creek boards? They're really fun to work with. This is the large one. And they have different sizes. I've done one on the smaller round and the large, and it's all the same technique. It's just less holes. Sometimes these look a little intimidating when you see them and there's so many holes and you don't know what to do. But I'm going to break it down for you step by step. Okay, it's 4 o'clock. So we're going to get started just because this can take a little bit. And I want to make sure that I can show you how to do this. So hi, Becky, welcome. All right, Angela, you've never made one, but all right. That was me for a long time. I'd seen them and I was like, oh, those are so pretty. I want to make one, but I thought they were so hard. And when I finally made my first one, I was like, oh, this is great. This is so fun and so easy. Okay, so I just saved a few petals to prep with you. I have a whole basket full of the other ones. They're all prepped. And if you joined my live last week, hi Linda, welcome. We did the spiral wreath and it's the same exact petal. The only difference is this is the craft outlet mesh. So it's this is what I would recommend. The one I just did, the patriotic American flag wreath, I used Hobby Lobby mesh because I was really anxious to do it, and I did have to double up that mesh. It was really easy with my wood burner tool just to fuse them together, but with the craft outlet mesh, it's a lot thicker and you don't have to double it up. It's going to be just as pretty. Betty, I'm going to be making the large rose wreath on a Unique in the Creek, the large round wreath board. So we're going to prep the few petals that I have here to prep, and then we're going to get started with preloading that wreath board and start adding all of those petals and making a beautiful rose. I know, I love this mesh too. This is from Craft Outlet and it's the foil mesh, and their mesh is just so fun to work with. So let's go ahead and prep these last 5. They're really easy. I don't know what the name of this is, but I like to call it a jellyfish petal. So you're going to have your mesh curl side up, finish edge on the left and right, and I like to just rotate it a little bit. I like to go from the bottom up. It doesn't matter. You can go from the top here. You can go whichever corner you want to go. It doesn't matter. So we're going to go to the corner here. And then I'm using my mat here. This part is important. You want to measure 3 inches. Now with the spiral, I showed you how you can put it in your hand and just lift it up, but this mesh is so thick, you can't really, it's easier to do it this way with this mesh. So you're going to go to your mat, and it's very important to come in 3 inches with all your petals. So I'm just going to take my mat, come in 1, 2, 3, right below that 3-inch mark, and I'm going to slide each side towards that center mark, and you have this jellyfish petal. This is the important part. None of this you're going to see in the design, okay? So then it's at my 3 inches. I'm going to take a silicone rubber band. I get these from the Dollar Tree in the hair section. I know they have crafting ones as well. And then I just like to trim off some of the excess there. So let's do these last 4 together. Hi Shannon, glad you can make it. You did the ladybug. Oh, Deborah, yeah, that's one that's been on my list for a long time. That one is so cute. So we're going to do another one here, and we're measuring in 3 inches, which is very important with this rose. You want to have them all 3 inches. And once you get to that 3 inches, you're going to add your silicone rubber band. And there's your jellyfish petal. And we're going to trim off the excess. The size squares are, Catherine, they are 10 inches. And you can use your rotary cutter or your wood burner tool. I cut all these with the wood burner tool. And same thing, doesn't matter if you come this way, come down, whichever corner. I like to go from the bottom up, looking at my mat, coming in 3 inches right below that 3-inch line, pinching in the middle and sliding each side towards that middle, and making sure I'm at the 3 inches. And then I'm going to add my rubber band. No, I know, Nancy, I thought that too. I had been wanting to make one for so long, and I thought, this looks really hard. I don't know about that until I made one, and now it's ending up as one of my favorite wreaths to make. Hi, Shannon. Did you go out to dinner already? Are you heading out to dinner pretty soon? Oh, the West Coast. Hi, Lori. I told my husband that, and he thought that was so funny. Okay, so we're going to prep these last two, and then I have the whole basket full. I believe that I needed 40 of them. So what I did was I had 2 rolls, and I like to take the first half of each roll to have nice, beautiful petals here. That's kind of what I do in my pumpkin wreaths too, because once you start getting down that roll, it gets really curly, and I think the petals don't look as nice. So we're eating takeout. All right, what are you having? Okay, so we're gonna do this last one, and then I'm gonna show you how to preload the wreath board. So we're coming in 3 inches, pinching in that center, bringing each side towards the center, and making sure we're putting our rubber band at the 3-inch mark. Oh, I love sushi. That's one of my favorites. My husband doesn't like sushi, so I always have to go out with my girlfriend and have sushi. I love sushi. Although I did get him to try it on our last cruise, and he seemed to, he did okay with it, so. But it's not his favorite if we're going to go out to dinner. All right, so, okay. So there's the petals. If you have any questions, let me know. 10 inches. They form this beautiful little umbrella shape, which is going to make our rose. And you're going to be surprised at how easy this is to make. And at the end, I'll show you my American flag that I did, which I am, well, I'll show it to you now. I still have to put the stars on it, but this is how it turned out, and I love it. And that's what's so great about this design, is that you don't just have to do a single color. You could do a variegated rose with 2 different colors. You could do any American flag that you want to do. Oh, thank you, Betty. That's super sweet. Chiliranos. Oh, that's another one of my favorite. I love chiliranos. Okay, so we're going to prep this wreath board. And like I said before, I know it looks a little intimidating with all these holes and everything, but when you flip it over, it has different numbers, which is different rows. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have our center, which I'm just going to call 6. And then you also have these 2 indented holes here, which is where your hanger is going to go. That's going to be the top center of your board. So what I like to do is I'm going to flip it over this way on the back side, and it's easier just to preload like this, okay? I mean, you could go like this and come under and all that, but it's really a lot easier just to flip it over and put your zip ties this way, and then when we flip it back over, we'll get those started. So now that was the center hole, the center 2 holes, and now we're on row 5. You're going to see these little sets of holes, okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add 1 and all the little sets of holes here. And this row is going to be the only row that we conjoin holes, because we're going to make 1 continuous circle. So we have all these sets in. Let's flip it over, and we're just going to go ahead and do a couple clicks on each of these. And it really is a lot easier to preload when you flip it upside down. I learned that one from Lori from Unique in the Creek, and it's been a great little tip there. So let's go now. Row 5, we're conjoining the holes. So we're going to use a shared hole on each of these to make 1 continuous circle. I got this from Unique in the Creek. Lori sent me a box of these wreath boards to try out, and I'm trying them out. So I did she sent me all different ones, the little rectangle ones where I did an Easter centerpiece, and then she sent the ones that have the hole in the middle, which are really fun to work on. And then I have a few more of these. So when this tutorial is over, or if you look at any of my other, the pink rose, it has her website there. Okay, so we just did the, and when I get done with this, I'll add all that stuff in there. Into the description section, the link and all that. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to get all, this is the hardest row because all these zip ties are really all over the place. So let's just go ahead and get all of those, the ones that we just did through the joining holes, cinched up here. And I just do a couple clicks to get it started. Okay, so this is what we have so far. We have our center, and then we have row 5 is a continuous loop with all of these. Let me get this on the other side. Okay, so now we're going to load row 4. I think they used to sell these at Hobby Lobby, but I heard that they discontinued them there. So I'm not really sure if they're going to start coming back or not. Okay, so we're going to flip this over and we're going to row 4, and you're going to see the sets. We're going to do one in each set. And I think it goes faster when you preload the board, but you don't have to. You could do it as you go along. Can everybody see okay? I've been trying to get the right camera angle. I've got a very small studio, and I think that's the hardest part, is trying to figure out this camera angle. So I hope that you can see me okay. Oh, the Hobby Lobby thing's over. Okay, that's what I heard. I haven't really been in there or looked, but that was neat seeing them there, or, you know, selling them over there. Yeah, I guess, well, I know that she has them, like you could get them, she has them, and I have them linked in my Amazon store, and I know there's a lot of different, designers that she sells to. So, but you can get them off her website too. She's got all the different boards there. All right, so we're preloading row 4. All right, now we're looking at row 3, and you're going to see like a single hole, and you're going to see these pairs, these sets. You're only going to load the sets, not that single one. Oh, Craft Outlet has them. Cool. I've never really looked for them there. I always go straight to the mesh. Yeah, I was watching something, and she was naming off a bunch of where she has her boards at, and she's got them all over the place, which is really really cool. And there's so much you can do with them. This is just one thing. I know Shannon did a beautiful butterfly with the butterfly kit on her live, and it was so pretty with all the petals that she used. I haven't done those petals yet, and it was just so pretty. She did like 2 different kinds of petals. You'll have to go check that out. Shannon Fillin' Crafty. She's got a great channel and does a lot of really fun stuff. We're both kind of out of the box kind of gals and like to do different stuff. So, okay, so now we're on row 2, and you're going to see, this is the last row we're going to do, and you're going to see the sets. So we're going to add these into all of those sets, and then we're almost done preloading. We're going to do one more thing when we add our outside edge, where we're going to add another zip tie through each of these, but that's not until later. All right, we're getting there. This one's just a little time consuming. You might hear Turbo. He's over there snoring. I'm gonna have to bring him on camera one of these days and show you. He is the cutest thing. Yeah, YouTube, you know, it's a learning curve. I mean, all of this has been a learning curve. I mean, it took me this long to go live because I was texting Shannon, show me, how does your camera look like, and you know, how do you get that angle, and so, but yeah, YouTube, once you start doing your tutorials, I mean, YouTube was so intimidating at first, and it's my favorite platform. It's my platform. I love YouTube. I've met so many wonderful people on YouTube, and it's a great platform. It really is. So that's why I decided if I'm going to go live, I'm going live on YouTube. What size zip ties? That's a good question. These were sent from Lori too. They're 6 inches. I'm not sure how wide they are, but as long any zip tie that's, you can get that top part through the hole will work just fine. Hi Jay, welcome. I'm making a large red rose on the Unique in the Creek large wreath board, which is one of my favorite wreaths to make. Boy, I'm so glad I figured out these messages. How it's so much easier to look right over at my iPad and not have to squint and see. All right, we're almost there. We're in the, see, now it's starting to look real crazy, and this is where it can be kind of intimidating. Okay, so we got a whole lot of zip ties, all right? So now what we're going to do, let me get my basket closer to me. I know some people craft standing up, but I've always crafted sitting down, so it works for me. My cozy little spot in my craft room. Okay, I'm gonna get everything pushed over here, and we're going to start making our scallop. So what we're doing now is we're starting on our row 2, okay? And we're going to add our petal in row 2. And where we did the 3 inches, which I said was like important in this wreath, is because that's where we're going to add the zip tie on all of our petals to keep this really uniform and straight. All right. Okay, so we're going to start adding one of these petals, and we're placing the tail going inside. This is the only row where we're going to have the tails going on the inside. So I'm just going to go around on row 2 and start placing all of these petals. And what it's going to make, we're going to make a scalloped edge. I think it's easier to start with this first. And then after we make this, we're going to go from the center out. Hi, Rosie. Welcome. Welcome. Making sure I answered all your questions. Oh, Linda, you use their boards all the time? Yeah. They're really fun to work with. I like to use them. But I also like to use a lot of different things too to give people options. And I kind of work on a little bit of everything. But it seems like the 14-inch wire wreath frames are my go-to. And I've been hearing that people are having a hard time finding those at the Dollar Tree now. Which is sad because those you could always find at the Dollar Tree. I know all the other ones are getting harder and harder to find. Hopefully they'll have some pumpkin ones this year. I'm glad I stocked up last year. I did a whole lot of pumpkins, let me tell you. I had a reel that went viral. It actually happened 2 times on the pumpkin and 2 different seasons. And last year I sold 55 pumpkin wreaths. And I'm gonna do one more for my live, but I think that's all the pumpkin wreaths I think I'm ever gonna want to make because I was exhausted. I spent the whole month of September trying to fill these pumpkin wreath orders, and it was nuts. So if you sell wreaths, let me tell you, you grab that orange poly burlap mesh from Craft Outlet and start making some pumpkin wreaths, and you can make yourself some money because people love that wreath so much. Hi, Jay. No, I see you. You're here. Yep. All right, Linda, thank you. We're just making our way around the scalloped edge. And if you have the smaller wreath board, it's all the same thing. You're just, you know what? I think I did this wrong, actually, now that I'm looking at it. I think I was supposed to skip every other row on that one. I have too many scallops. See, that's what happens when I start talking. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is supposed to be every other one on this one. So we're just going to start taking some of these out. I knew something was looking off. Well, that's what crafting's about. You should see how much I ended up taking out of my, when I was making that red, white, and blue one. I ripped out the whole center. I didn't like it because it was too much red. Okay, so row 2, it's every other one, not every one. Okay, so let me just get these out. Well, at least we caught that before we added too much. Okay, there we go. We're back in business. So, here we go. That wasn't going to make a scallop with all those petals in there. And now I'm going to have to fix these really quick because I don't want to have to pull my wood burner tool out and cut more. Let me just fix these last couple here. Oh, really? You can't get the 14-inch anymore, Deborah? What a bummer. I mean, sometimes I have 4 Dollar Trees at my in my town, so I still have luck finding them, but I really hope they don't discontinue those. Those are my go-to wreath frames. Okay, we're back in business here. So we're doing every other one on row 2. And we're starting with our outside scalloped edge, which is our outer petals of our rose. Yeah, Deborah, hopefully they have those pumpkins this year. Because, you know, you can do some really neat stuff. I don't know if you've seen my Halloween witch's cauldron with the pumpkin wreath. It's one of my favorite wreaths ever. All right, so now we did the scalloped edge right here. We're going to flip it back over, and all those zip ties on the row 2, we're going to go back into those same holes with another zip tie. And No, you know, these are just, these cutters are just, the basic Hobby Lobby ones I got when I first started my crafting business, and I still using them, but no, they're not spring loaded. I really need to get some more crafting supplies. I need a new hot glue gun, and I need some more cutters, and so I'm probably going to place an order pretty soon here, because I think that would make life a little bit easier to have some spring loaded ones. All right, so we went back through the holes where we added for our scalloped edge, and now we're going to start making our scallop. And yeah, I like these zip ties that she sent with the wreath boards. I like them. You have 4 Dollar Trees and no wreath forms to be found. And then you found some. Yeah, definitely got to stock up when you find them, right? Right, Ginger? Because the only ones I ever see now are the like the 14-inch, if I see those, or the square ones, or the little ones, and that's it. I don't see any of the other. I didn't see any of the bunny ears or anything else. Okay, so now what we're going to do is form a scallop. So you're going to take one of your ends here at the tip. You're going to bring it into this other zip tie, and you're going to skip one and take the end from this other one, and it's going to go under this one. So I'm just basically crisscrossing both of those tips. Now I don't want to go up really high. I just want to try to grab those tips to keep this nice scallop edge going. Nice big scallops, and not, you know, make them real small towards the board. So we're doing that, and we're going to do that all the way around. So now this one goes in here. This one comes under the other petal. And I'm just doing a very slight crisscross. Yep, the pumpkins with the, I've done those too with the, I have actually a lot of pumpkin tutorials on my channel. I went a little crazy with the pumpkins last couple years. But the fabric ones are fun, and I've done the beaded ones with the beads. So now I'm continuing around doing the same thing with just a very slight crisscross, grabbing the tip. And I like to repeat myself. If you hear me saying the same thing over and over again, that's how I learn. I like the repetitive to be say it over and over to get it. So if you hear me repeating myself, that's just what I'm used to doing when I'm doing my tutorials. Jay, I got this from Unique in the Creek, and I will leave the link in the description section of this live. And it's also in the description section of my pink rose that I did on her board. And so here I go. I'm just going around until we have one continuous scallop. And you can see that scallop edge is starting to form. We're just bringing this one in. The other one's coming under. Doing just a slight little crisscross. This board, let me measure it. That's a good question. It looks like it's 15.5 inches. Yes, they're gray zip ties. I really like them. I'm actually probably going to order some more from her because these are great zip ties. And now we're on the last one. No, we got one more. And here's the very last one of that scalloped, bringing this corner under the other one. Just enough to catch them in the zip tie, so you don't make those scallops too tight. And so this is what we have so far. We have the outside of our rose with those beautiful scallops. And this mesh is so pretty from Craft Outlet. The foil mesh, it just has this iridescent to it. I don't know if you can see it very good, but it's so pretty. I think it's going to make a beautiful rose. Okay, so now we're going to start with the center bud. Oh, Lori, Vito, and Lucy. Oh. Okay, I cut the mesh at 10 inches. How you, let's see, how you attach those wires after you put, you know what I did was I clip them off with wire cutters and then I attached them back with hot glue. And it worked. Yep, it worked. That was how I did those. And I love that one. That one's really fun. Okay, so I'm gonna just, let me stick this off. You know, I could probably get rid of all of these now. Don't need any of those. We are going, that's all the zip ties you need. Now we're going to make our center bud. We don't need the scissors anymore. And I'm going to show you how to do the center bud. So now we're going to need some clips. I get these from the Dollar Tree, just those pack of clips. All right, so we're going to take one of these. This is, I think, the easiest way to do the bud. Everyone does them different, but I like to do them like this, and I think it turns out pretty. So I mean, sometimes there's more of a concave edge than the other. I mean, it really doesn't matter, but the one that has more of the concave, just leave it face side up. And so I start by taking this corner here, okay? And I'll do it a few times so you can see. And we're going to just rotate it like a 180 rotate. Okay, so we're going to take this corner and rotate it into a curl. And then once you get that, we're going to just start rolling the whole thing until you get to about 1.5 inches and bringing that over. And that creates this little like bud-like, the little center bud. So let's do that again. So we're taking this end and we're rotating it 180. And we're rolling the whole thing. You get 1.5 inches and you bring that over. And you have this little center bud. Hi, Lucas. Thank you. That's my youngest son. He's supporting me. Thank you, baby. Love you. I have 3 boys and he's my youngest. He's 20. But they're still my baby boys, even though they're all adult children now. All right, so should we do it one more time? So we have it like this. We're taking this in, we're rotating it 180, and we're just rolling the whole thing and bringing that end right there, forming a center bud. So the same thing applies here that we did with the other ones, is we want to come in 3 inches. And it's all going to be different like lengths here. So we're coming in 3 inches, which is going to be right around all of this here. And let me get a rubber band here. Yeah, I don't know how to do any of the attachments on the wood burner. I always use mine just like it is. I've tried to add those and can't figure out all those attachments. So I just always use this chisel tip that just comes on it. And we're going to trim it like we did all the other ones. So this is our center bud. And we're going to be building off this bud. So now what we're going to do, making sure I got everything in the rubber band, is we're going to attach this to the very center. And this mesh is a little bit thick. You know, I feel like that's not attached. Let's do that center bud. I don't feel like I have everything in the rubber band like I should. So let's redo that. I don't want it falling apart on me. This little end's starting to come out. Well, I guess it's on there pretty good. No, it's on there. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, it's on there. All right, so we're going to place this in here and we're going around that rubber band, which was our 3-inch mark, which is important in this design, the 3 inches. Okay, so now we have our center bud. Yeah, I guess it wants to come open. No, I think I just don't want it to, I hope it's all caught in that rubber band. Okay, there we go. That's fine. So there's our center bud. And you could do it as tight as you want, as loose as you want. And we're going to start building off this bud here. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're going to be working from the center out. And this row 5 is, to me, is the most difficult row because everything's really tight. And when you wrap it, you gotta make sure that you're wrapping in front of all these zip ties. Oh, Crystal, I'm Pacific Standard Time. So I set it at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm in California. So we have the next bud, and this is where I just like to look at them when I add them. I mean, you can do this or you don't have to do this, but I try to take the side that has more of a concave edge, and that's the one I'm going to place it with that concave side in towards my next bud. So since the bud is falling this way, my first one I want to place is on the zip tie that's going to hold it up. So the scalloped edge is the only edge that we did with the tails going in. From here on out, the tails are going to be going out for every one of these petals. So now I'm going to place it in the zip tie on the number 5 row with that tail going out and placing it right around that rubber band. And like I said, this row is just, it's the trickiest of the rows. And so now what you're going to do is you're going to wrap this rose, and you're going to wrap it on the inside of all of these zip ties. And this part is up to you. Really liking that center bud that I did, but it's going to be fine. So we're going to wrap everything around into like a cone here, and you don't have to worry about the stuff underneath right now. What you're focusing on is how you want your rose to look up here, because it's going to start coming out. And you know, if you want it really tight, you can do it tight, but I like to keep them kind of on the looser side because I like that look. So, and I like this end, the new one, to come up a little bit higher so it looks more realistic. So once I kind of get this look that I like, I'm going to take my clips and I'm just going to clip everything just to hold it in place. And I'm not worrying about the bottom stuff that's coming out at this point. So now I'm going, whichever way you start, you're just going to start going the same direction around. So we're going, and it's basically that same thing, and you're just building a rose. So I'm going to take the side that looks more concave. I'm going to place it with my tail coming towards me, going around that rubber band. And wrapping this next petal there with my new one. And it's just, you're constantly just taking the clips off, adding new clips, moving the clips. So once I like that look, I like that. So then once I get to, I'll move my clip that way. And it's just basically holding it for you until you get that next petal going. All right. So that's what we have so far. And we're going to keep going. Well, you're not rose challenged, Deborah, in your yard because you have the most beautiful flowers. I don't know how this girl does it. I mean, she's got the most beautiful garden and flowers and crops, and I can only do one or one or the other. All right, so now we're going to take our next one, and I'm going in that same direction. Crystal, I'm glad you made it. What time? Oh, what is it? Is it 3 hours ahead of us? Yeah, that would get a little late for a live. Well, for some people, not really for me, because I'm a night owl. Which I got to start trying to get to bed earlier, because I have just been, I can't turn my mind off, and I've had a couple 3 o'clock in the morning nights, and I got to stop doing that. Hi, Bunny. No, this one isn't the patriotic one. That was the one I shared today on Facebook. That one's going to be my tutorial for this Sunday on my YouTube channel. So we've added another one, and we're still on row 5. And what's cool about this is that you think like all these ends are going to be flopping everywhere, but the next petal just holds everything in. And then it just keeps working like that till you work all the way until the end of your rose. Everything just holds itself together. You don't have to hot glue. You don't have to do anything like that. It will all hold itself together. And when you place those tails facing out, it really like pushes everything in. All right, so I like that. So I just kind of start, I like these to go a little bit higher every time. And just layer it the way you think looks to your liking. There's no right or wrong with this one. You can go loose, you can go tighter. So I like something like that. So let's hold those together there. So see how it's starting to form? Oh, good, Shannon. I know you've been wanting to do one, and did you find out if you had your yellow mesh? Are you gonna do a yellow one? A yellow one would be really pretty. Swallowtail caterpillars. Deborah, you're so cute. Deborah's in her 60s and she still does cartwheels. I don't know if I would attempt a cartwheel. I'd probably end up pulling something. Okay, so here we go. Once we get past this little row 5 is when it gets like really starts coming to life. Just making sure you're getting inside all those zip ties. You're wrapping. You're just wrapping it. And then you're moving your clips to hold it while you work on your next petal. I know, right, Lori? All right, we're getting there. And this is why I prepped ahead of time, because I would have kept you here for a long time. It would have took me a long time to make this. So it's good to just get all that prep stuff out of the way. All right, so we're starting to wrap and move our clips, and our center rose is starting to take shape here. And it looks like we have 3 more on row 5. Deborah, did those flowers you planted that you thought were dead, did they make it? Did they get saved? All right. So the patriotic one, it took me a while to figure out all how the blue and how much blue, but I finally got it the way. I took a lot of stuff out because it was bothering me, but I really love how it turned out. And you can make any kind of flag for any state with just, you know, using the colors, the same technique. Okay, so we've got 2 more. Tails are facing towards us, and that's helping holding everything in place. Oh, I love water skiing. That's like my favorite thing ever, but we don't have a boat, so I never get to go unless friends invite us. But I double ski. I'm old school because I don't want to hurt myself. I used to single ski, but that was a long time ago. So, but I originally started double skiing when I was a little girl. So I love, that's like my favorite thing to do. We have a girls trip, a bunch of our girls from high school. We get together every year, and we do on my friend's houseboat up at Trinity Lake. And so I'll get to do it then. I'm really excited. So fun. We've all been friends for, geez, long time. We're in our 50s now, so it's a really special trip that we do every year. And that's coming up in August. And then I get to go visit my family that left me in California all by myself. They all moved to Oklahoma like 30 years ago. And they live on the most beautiful lake, Grand Lake of the Cherokees. And so then we're going in August, so I'll get to do some water skiing then too. So I'll get my fill in this year, hopefully. Well, Crystal, did you see me preload the wreath board? Were you here when I did all that? So basically I'm attaching them. We preloaded the wreath board, and so I'm attaching them with, when we made the petals, we did them 3 inches from the tip. and then we cut it. And so when I'm attaching it, I'm putting the tail towards me and attaching it right around the zip tie. And we preloaded the wreath board in a certain way, and right now we're working on row 5, which we just added our last one. And so now we're going to start working our way out to row 4 now. So, all right, it's starting to take shape. I like to kind of make these go a little bit, like when we add the new ones, I like them to go a little bit like kind of higher. So it starts really like looking like that rose. And you're going to have all this like loose stuff, and we're going to be doing a lot of tuck in and stuff like that towards the end. But right now, this is what we have so far. So you see how like we have like all these loose ends right there. All that's going to get covered with another petal, and it's all going to have yes, this row has we did the I think it's 6. Let's see, let's flip it over. We did the sets. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we did 4 with the conjoined holes. So there's a total of 8 of them here. Yep. And then we have our center one right there. That's what the board looks like so far. No, the center is where we placed our bud that we just did. And then we have the 8 of our jellyfish petals that are all wrapped around that section. And now we're going to start working our way out, and see how they're like spread further apart from here on out. So now the petals are going to kind of give it that bigger, looser look for your rose. So right now we're done with that, the one where we doubled up the holes and where we had the conjoined holes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to row 4. And I like to start like right here where these are all like sticking out right here. I want to start with my petal that's going to be closest to all that, so it can hold all that in. Yeah, the center is zip tied in the center. There was a zip tie in the very center. There's 2 holes in the center. You're still waiting for summer? Oh my goodness. I learned to ski on a trick ski. Oh, wow. Deborah, getting all fancy. That's awesome. I'm telling you, if you were in California, we'd be kayaking together. I think that's what I'm going to do tomorrow, because I have been just really doing a lot this week to try to stay ahead. And because this is when it's really hard for me to craft, because summer is my favorite season of all time, and I start losing focus because I just want to be outside playing and at the lake or at the beach. So I've been really trying to push myself here to keep moving along and staying ahead of my tutorials and not get behind and be scrambling. So I think tomorrow is going to be my day where I can relax. I think I'm going to go to the lake and just relax on my kayak. Okay, so now we're on row 5, and we're just going to do the same thing. So I'm see how this has a little bit more of a concave than the other side. So I'm going to use the concave side against the petals, the previous petals. And so we're just continuing. See, it really starts coming together pretty quick once you get out of that row 5. And then it starts getting really loose and pretty. You can really start seeing that rose effect. So see how I'm going a little bit higher than the other one to give those nice rose petal look. And you're just constantly moving your clips around And we're going into that same direction. Once you start, just keep going in that same direction. I got to figure out what my next tutorial is going to be. If you have any suggestions or anything that you'd like to see done, let me know, because I need to figure out what my one's going to be for next Sunday after I have the rose going up, or the patriotic rose going up this Sunday. And I'm releasing one tomorrow. I normally don't release one midweek, but I was really trying to get all of my patriotic ones done, because that's what always happens every season, is there's so much I want to do, and then it's time to start switching over, which I can't even think about that right now, because I feel like I just put everything away for Christmas and fall and Halloween, and the thought of having to go grab all that stuff again is just kind of exhausting. But I need to I have one releasing tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then the patriotic rose will be on Sunday, and then I got to figure out my next tutorials from there. Oh, you made your second flip-flop wreath, Laura. That one, oh, I love that. It's up on my wall right now. I love that wreath. That just makes me so happy. That one's so fun to do. And they have so many neat flip-flops and summer signs, and so I'm still just wrapping. That's all I'm doing, is just wrapping and making my petals look the way I want to. And towards the end, we can, if you know, like this is up a little high for me, and there's time where you can just adjust everything too at the end. But right now I'm just going around row, what are we on? We're on row 4 right now. And I'm looking to see if there's more of a concave side, and I'm going to put that against the previous petal. And this board just makes it really easy for this wreath with all those different rows, and the way they're spaced out, it's just perfect for a rose. So now we're getting bigger, we're getting looser. And we're starting to look like a rose. Oh, good, good. Did you sell them, or did you make it for yourself, Laura? I made 2, and I love them both. I have one in the house and one on my front porch. That's how much I love that wreath. Because I'm a flip-flop girl. I love my flip-flops. Well, not really. I mean, I do like flip-flops, but I mostly wear my, like, Birkenstocks. I'm not really a shoe person unless I'm going to the gym or something. Which I need to start getting back to the gym, because I've been sitting doing a lot of crafting and not a lot of work at the gym. So this is when I start checking out in the summer with my workouts and everything. So I need to start getting back. So we got one more for row 4. And see how it's starting to take shape pretty quick. And you're going to have loose ends, and we're going to be tucking a lot of that stuff. If anything's popping, we're going to be tucking everything towards the end. Usually with this mesh, everything stays in pretty good. You made 9? Oh my gosh. Are you serious? People wouldn't spend $20 for those? That's ridiculous. People are just getting, people that don't do wreaths, I don't think they understand, you know, they could just be like, oh, well, those are just Dollar Tree flip-flops, it's not worth it. But they don't understand the time, you know, that it takes to go to the store, get the materials, you know, time to make it. It's like, we don't work for free when you're selling something. Like, you know, your time to make it, you got to pay yourself for that. Yeah, that's not even, you know, and then if you have to ship it on top of that, yeah, no. That's why I decided that I wasn't going to, when I did that one angel ring wreath, when I was selling wreaths, and I did that one Patty's from Crooked Tree, her beautiful ombre one. Oh my gosh, people went crazy on that one, and I had like messages after messages, how much I sold them for, and you know, do I sell them? And you know, I was willing to sell them, but what I was not willing to do was sacrifice the price, you know. And it's like they wanted it for nothing, and that thing was, I mean, probably over $40 in materials. It would take me all day to make it, and my husband had to make a special box for the one that I gifted, this huge special box, and it cost like over $40 to ship. So no, I wasn't going to sacrifice my price. Either you want it for this or I'm good. I don't have to, you know, to make them. I was just, you know, was willing to, because people really, you know, it meant something, or for a loved one, but nobody wanted to pay the money. So I said, fine, here's my tutorial, you can make it yourself. Oh yeah, I haven't, darn it, the paw wreaths are so cute. I haven't done one of those yet. I really want to. Those are adorable. Have you tried like craft fairs or something like that? I think that would be a really good seller at a craft fair, Mary. Those are cute. Or like, I don't know, probably not a pet store, but maybe like a local pet store or something. Okay, so we finished up with row 4. So now we have row 5, and then we're not done yet because we are going to be adding zip ties. I just wait until after I do the scallops. We're going to do, this is going to be our last row right here. So let's get, now we're getting, it's getting bigger, it's getting looser, it's starting to form into that beautiful rose. And so now we're going to keep going, and these are spread further apart now, and now we're going to really get these loose petals, these big, beautiful, loose petals. Yeah, I would say just don't sacrifice your prices, you know, and you just keep plugging away, and the right customer is going to come along. You just have to get your product in front of more people, more eyes on your product. Yeah, that would be good. City adoption events, things like that, I think would be a great seller. Yeah, I would think those would do really good at a craft fair. And the flip-flop wreaths, stuff like that. That's not as expensive to make as some of the other ones, that you could still make a profit. Because it seemed like when I was doing craft fairs, it could be different now. I did a few and they were really fun, but I wasn't selling anything. I was spending. I was having, you know, by the time I spent the money for the craft fair and then went shopping at the booths, because I felt like I should buy from the vendors, and I had a blast, but I wasn't making any money, and it was exhausting, so much work. But I would think that the lower priced items are the way to go for the craft fairs, the lower cost wreaths. Yeah, maybe I'm going to have to add the paw print on my list of to-dos. I know Shannon did a cute one for her grandma. Little cute pet one with cute ribbon and everything. And I actually bought stuff a long time ago to make one. I bought some pet toys and things like that to add to the wreath, but I never got around to making it, which always seems to happen. There's just not enough time to make everything that you want. So I usually have a list of wreaths, and then I try to get to what I can, and what I can't get to, then I'll start. That'll be my first ones that I start for that next season when it comes rolling around again. Oh, I bet she loved it, Laura. So see, we're just wrapping, and now it's the way the zip ties are angled, you're going to really get those beautiful rose layers here, or the way they're spaced out. See how it's getting really full? That's why I don't like to go too tight in the center and all that, because you know, you just want this big, beautiful, flowing rose. Okay, so we are, once you start in one direction, just keep going to the next one next to it, whichever direction you go, until you make it all the way around. See, it's not as hard as it might look when you see the rose. It's just the same thing over and over, and the same exact petal. Take those out. And there's, you know, all the different variations that you do. It looks like with that patriotic one, that variegated look is so pretty. Originally, I wanted to do a variegated rose before I did that patriotic one. I wanted to do a red and yellow one, but I didn't like the yellow mesh that I got. So this is the red that I bought with the yellow. So who doesn't like a red rose? I mean, that is a staple right there. I think these would be really good sellers too. These roses, I've never listed mine. I'm actually kind of redesigning my whole Etsy store. I took everything out of my Etsy store except for this birdhouse that my husband made. We have a couple left to sell, but I want to start changing up my Etsy store into like more like PDF kind of stuff. Maybe some t-shirts, or you know, things like that, with some crafting, some fun crafting sayings on them. But it's another thing to figure out, and one thing at a time. But my Etsy store is very bare right now. And I was selling those pumpkin kits too, but I don't think I'm going to do that this year, because those took a lot of time too. And I don't know if I want to go there again this year. It wouldn't have been bad if I just like had stuck the 2 rolls of the orange in the box, but I would burned all the petals to make it easy for people that might not have had a wood burning tool. And I sealed everything, all the petals, and the triangles, everything was like, so it was a lot. It was a lot of work just to sell a kit. I mean, just for the kit. So, but everyone loves that pumpkin. So I definitely would suggest, if you want to make money selling wreaths, I'd start pumpkins right now, because they love that pumpkin wreath. What would you charge for this one? Oh, I'd have to think about that. That's a good question. I was thinking about listing the patriotic one. Well, what I usually like to do is, thank you, Lynn. Thank you. It's starting to come together. Yes. You want to make another fur baby one? That was really cute, Shannon. I bet your grandma loved that one. All the flower wreaths are made, or are some lollipops? Where is the pumpkin? Um, yeah, okay. So, the pumpkin tutorials on my channel, you have to scroll down. Um, the original one, you know, the tutorials get better as I go along. So some of those earlier ones, I was like, oh. But that one was when they had the soft poly burlap mesh from Hobby Lobby. They don't have it anymore. So it's not the greatest one, but I have two. I mean, it shows the basics of how to make it. But what I would do is I would watch that one, and then I would go and I did another one for when I sold the kits so they could scan a code and so it showed like, this is your kit, you know, what you do with the petals. And that one's a lot more polished. I mean, a lot polished. But the other one will show you how to make the petals, because you've got to do when you do that pumpkin, you have to have the seam, you know, like the right hand side of the pumpkin, the seam has to be a certain way, the finished edge, and then you have to do the petal another way to have the finished edge on the left. So I would go watch both of them, and then, but yeah, that second one with the tutorial one it's a lot nicer, you know. But the other one, you'll learn how to do the different ways, how to get that seam on the left and the right side. I'm starting my partnership really soon, Laura. I'm really excited. It took me a while to go through all this stuff, and I mean, I could have looked on there for days, but I picked it out, and I decided I was going to do a fall wreath, and it's on its way. I don't know exactly when it's coming, but it's been shipped, and I'm really excited about that. It's just gonna be like it's not gonna be, it's just gonna be like a really pretty fall wreath. I'm gonna start with that, and then I'm going to start doing like maybe, you know, like a fun, you know, something fun, kind of like what I do for like Christmas. But yeah, I'm really excited with what I picked out. And then they did up the little thing that they're going to start sharing as soon as, they're just kind of waiting on me to give them the word of when I'm going to have that tutorial going. But I don't know when I'm getting the kit. So I'm waiting on that, and then that's going to be really soon. Probably within the next 2 weeks, I'll be having that tutorial with TMI, with my collaboration with them. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. I think I picked out some cute stuff, and it's just a really fun fall with a cute fall sign. I think there's some pumpkins on it, and then like a swag. I mean, it's just going to be really cute. I mean, it's on those preloaded. I'm going to do a poly mesh one, a deco mesh one on the preloaded wreath is what I picked out. And then I have some sunflowers and some different florals, some grasses and different things that I picked out. So I can't wait to get that. And I'm sure their ribbon is gorgeous. I picked out 3 different ribbons with that. I don't know what the lollipops is. Isn't that a petal? I think I've heard people say that. Isn't there a lollipop petal or something? I don't know. A lot of these, I don't know the name of the petals. Like this one, there's probably a name for it, but I call it the jellyfish petal. I don't know if the lollipop petal is like the ones that you do like on the tulip. I'm not really sure. But the tulip one is kind of like this, I think. It just goes like this and like this. Is that the lollipop? Something like that? I'm not really sure, but okay, so back to what we're doing here, and we just finished row 3. Row 3? Yep, we just finished row 3. Okay, so now we are like honestly in the home stretch here. Okay, so this is where we want it kind of loose because we only have 1 row left. So now remember with that scalloped edge how we had skipped the sets of holes. Now we're going to add the zip ties back into that set of holes. Yeah, and that's cool. They're gonna give a like a link. Like if somebody wants to you know, make my kit, there'll be a special link where all the, you know, all the items will be there. And then all my followers will get 20% off if they I'll have a code that will be linked in my my tutorials, so they can get 20% off. I mean, you could get 20% off right now. The code is HH20. So if you do want to shop on TMI, you can use that code and you will get 20% off. So now I'm just adding those zip ties in those holes that we skipped, the set of holes. Oh yeah, the ladybug is the lollipops. Yep, I think that's the same. I just didn't know it was called a lollipop. That's the same petal that you do for the tulip wreath, which is another one of my favorite wreaths. Okay, so now we did, this is why we did this one last, because it'd be too hard to see when we're doing those scallops and kind of get in the way of the scallops. So now we're adding into our last row here. Let me get all these started. What do I do with all my wreaths for my tutorials? Oh boy, Angela, let me tell you. They are, well, a lot of them I put around my house, my favorite ones. I only save my favorite ones. And we live on a couple acres. We have a house and then we have a mobile home on the property as well. So the mobile home has turned into my craft storage area. And I had so many wreaths, like it was ridiculous that, you know, like maybe ones that I did that you know, I'm really picky with the ones I sell. I only sell, like when I was selling them, the ones my favorite ones I would put on Etsy. But like, you know, I'm really picky when it comes to that. But a lot of the stuff, you know, my earlier ones, like, you know, I'm not going to sell those. I'm still learning and I don't think they're, you know, worthy to sell. So I ended up doing a huge donation to the thrift store and it filled up 2 bins of wreaths. I mean, it was crazy. So yeah. So right now I'm just kind of, just stockpiling them next door. And then I'll just rotate my favorite ones out of the different seasons, and then the other ones I'll just donate. And there, you know, there was some that I would be, you know, like I was listing some and have sold, like when I do a tutorial, I'll put it in my Etsy store, but I might start doing that again. I don't know. It just, to me, is a lot of work to box and ship and all that kind of stuff. But my favorite ones, I probably will. I think I have the ladybug in the Etsy store right now. I took everything else out of my Etsy, but I'll probably list these roses in there. And well, let's see, somebody had asked, oh, good luck, Mary, good luck. Yes, I hope you sell lots of goodies. That always feels good to be able to lighten the load a little bit. Somebody asked how much would I sell this one for? What I usually like to do is how I judge about lollipops, Betty. I just didn't know that was called a lollipop wreath. Yeah, interesting. I kept hearing people talk about that. Bye, Deborah. We'll see you later. What I like to do, kind of how I like price my stuff when I sell stuff, is I take the cost of how much all the supplies are to make it, and then the time. You know, you've got to factor in your time to how long it takes to make it. You know, I mean, some of these wreaths, like that angel ring wreath, that ombre one, I mean, that took me hours and hours to make. So I'm not just going to sell that for nothing, because my time is worth something, right? So like, nobody works for free. So that's what I like to do. Like this rose wreath, I know we're talking and all that, but what are we at? We're at almost an hour and a half. We're almost done. But you know, so you pay yourself what you think you're worth, you know? I mean, that's kind of what I do, is I would give myself an hourly rate. So now we're on the last row 2. We're going to do the same thing on row 2. So I would, oh, I want to mention one thing on this last row is we're going to place the end underneath the scallop, because it's our last one. So what I like to do is, before I do the zip tie, I place it in the scallop, and then I tie it. So that's how I would do it. It's like, how much am I paying myself per hour? How much time did it take me to make? And then how much were the supplies? And then if it's going to be shipped, you know, you got to add an extra at least $25 for shipping. Shipping's like so expensive, $25, $30 usually. Okay, so now we're on this last row. And this is where we're going to start like kind of adjusting stuff once we get this last row done. Let me take all these out. Oh yeah, I forgot about that, Shannon. Yeah, you're right. She mentioned that I made all these petals ahead of time. Yeah, and that was a lot of work. I had to cut 40 petals, prep all the petals. So I would say this wreath takes a good, if you're not, you know, if you're really just putting the petal to the metal, like 2 hours. So, I mean, you know, what, you know, it depends on how much, you know, you're worth. I mean, I at least pay myself a minimum of $25 to $30 an hour if I'm going to make something. So, which is still low. So yeah, that's kind of, you got to factor in a lot of stuff. And then like, say you're running around town to get different supplies at different places, you know, that's time too. So all those kind of have to factor into the price of a wreath. And then on Etsy, I have to sell them for at least like, add another $10 or so on top of what I would sell it, you know, if I wasn't selling it online, because for the Etsy fees are really expensive. I mean, they're not really expensive, but it depends on how much you're selling your thing for. I mean, it can add up. It can take a big chunk of your profit. But I still think Etsy is definitely a great thing to do, you know, because it's a great platform to sell on. I love Etsy. And it's safe. So when you have all these scammers out here asking you, is this still available? And all this, you know, you say, yeah, on my Etsy store, and then it gets real quiet because they're trying to scam you and your Venmo and whatever else. So it's a safe platform to sell on, which is why I liked it. I like it. I still like it. I'm just revising it. That's all. I'm not going to get rid of it because I've, you know, had some great success on Etsy, especially with those pumpkin wreaths. That's probably the majority of my sales. I mean, I've sold other things too, but were those pumpkin wreaths. And that was another thing with the pumpkin wreath, is there was people like, you know, the same wreath, you know, selling for way less than what I was selling for. And I had people saying, oh, you're selling, that's way too expensive. But I stood my ground because I knew it wasn't expensive from all the work that it took to make that wreath and the time. I wasn't going to sacrifice my prices, and I sold those, I think, for $129.99 on my Etsy store. And I've probably had over 100 sales of those pumpkin wreaths with the last 2 seasons. And there was people that were selling them for $59.99 or something. I was like, I have no idea how you could sell that and make a profit. There's no way. So just, I would say just stand your ground and know your worth, and don't settle for less. Because the people that are usually complaining about the prices are the ones that don't make wreaths and don't know how expensive everything is. I mean, we all know, everybody that's in the crafting world, how expensive the ribbon is now, the mesh. Everything is just outrageous. Okay, we are, it's coming to life here. I got a few more petals on the ground. Turbo's still snoozing away over there. I have to wait. I take him on a walk every night, but I have to wait until it starts getting cooler because it's too hot for him. He starts panning like crazy. Because I guess pugs, they can't control their body temperature like other dogs. So you got to be really careful with them out in the heat. Yeah, I know, Shannon, and I think what happens when people do that is they make it harder for people to sell when they just start lowering their prices and pretty much giving their wreaths away. That's what I've learned in my business group. I'm in Julie's Wreath Boutique, her business group, for 2 years now, and I've learned so much. And it's not that, you just got to get more eyes on your product. That's it. It's not that your stuff's too expensive. You just don't have the right customers yet. And you will find the right customers by getting more eyes on your product. Okay. So we've made all those rows now. So now what you're going to do is we're going to just kind of go around and scoop the scallop. Try to kind of make those pop up. And now there's going to be some ends that are popping up and popping out. And now you're just going to, now's your time when you can just adjust anything that you want. So some of these are popping out. If I want to like loosen or lift something up, now's when you can just adjust everything. And it just all starts coming together. And I mean, look at how pretty that is. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so now we've got a couple, let's see, are the ends in the last row? The ends are still going out. They're just getting tucked underneath that scallop. And you tuck them in first before you do the zip tie. Otherwise, it's hard to get that tucked in. It is a disservice. I know. It really is. When you see that, like, I mean, come on, who's gonna just who works for free? That's what I say. Nobody works for free. When people would send these nasty messages, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't work for free, or I don't know anybody that works for free. Yeah, so I'm excited, Laura. I'm going to be sharing that real soon. She made up a cute little write-up with all my stuff that I picked out, and I think I need to change my picture in it because my profile picture is more summer, and since I'm doing fall, I think I want to maybe get a different picture in there for fall. Okay, so now we got a couple more things to do. We got the leaves. Okay, so I had done these up, and the first one I did, when I did the pink one, I did the single leaves, and I thought it was too sheer. So then when I did my other one, my pink one, I doubled them up, and I like that one a lot better. So these I just fused 2 of them together with my wood burner tool, so they're doubled up and they're nice and green. And now we're going to do the petals. And I've done different with my pink one. I did petals that went all the way around. But I think I preferred the 3 sets of petals better on the rose. So that's what we're going to do for this one. So that's pretty much it. That's your rose. And now at this point, like I said, you're just tucking any ends that might be coming up or fixing anything that you want adjusted. You can move stuff around. Very, very easy. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Robin. Okay, so we are going to make our petals now. So let me just put this off to the side. Take a drink of my bubbly. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to grab just a couple of those rubber bands, little silicone rubber bands, and we have, these are cut in 10 inches as well, and we're going to just go at an angle like we've been doing, and we're going to take corner to corner and just overlap it about an inch. And this is really thick because I doubled it up, but we're going to just pinch and grab in that center and then bend it in half. And then this is where I'll add a rubber band at the end here. And then you have, it's a nice loose rubber band, so you can do this now or you can do it when it's on the rose, but you can, you know, adjust these, move them around if you want to add like in the scoop, or you know, you want to more spread apart. We're going to just, that rubber band's on there just to hold it so we can zip tie it on the board. So we're going to do that same thing, pinching in the center here and bending that in half. Now, if I was going to sell this rose, I definitely would not sell it for, if it was on my Etsy store, I wouldn't sell it less for $99.99. Because, you know, it's a lot goes into making it. And what I would do at the end, when we're all done, is I would, before I sold anything, I would spray it with a acrylic spray to keep it nice and sealed. A clear acrylic spray. You can get it from Hobby Lobby or different places. It's a clear acrylic sealer is what it is. And that will just protect everything. It will weatherproof it, keep it, anything from fraying. I would usually do a couple coats of that, let it dry outside. Oh, anytime, Betty. I share my information. I don't gatekeep. If I can help anybody out make some sales, I will help. It's just right now, my focus is my YouTube channel. It's not, I don't have anything against selling wreaths. It's just not my thing right now because I just don't have time. It's very consuming with making the tutorials, and that's what I focus on right now. So, but I do suggest is being part of a biz group. I always leave Julie's link to her biz group in the description of my tutorials because like her group has helped me out so much. I mean, she has trainings that you can access at any time. And there's no way that I would have been able to do what I've done without those trainings. And she just teaches you how to get more eyes on your product. And if you're trying to sell or whatever you're trying to do, there's just so much trainings of how to navigate social media and grow your channel. And because that's pretty much what it's about. It's about growing so you can get more eyes on your stuff. about lowering your prices. It's just about getting more eyes on your product, and the right customer will always come along. And there's way to get more eyes on your product. There's a lot of ways. And it's a lot of navigating all the different social medias and platforms as marketing to get more eyes on your product. Like right now, like if you follow me, you'll see me do a lot of like my reels and things like that. And I'm telling you to go to my YouTube channel. But if you're trying to sell something, it's the same thing. You're doing the same thing, but you're like driving people to where you want them to go. If you sell in your Etsy store, you're driving people to your Etsy store. And there's a lot of ways through Pinterest, through TikTok, through all these different platforms to get people to go to where you want them to go. All right, so we've made all of our little leaves here, our sets. We're going to do 3 sets of 2. And we're going to flip this over. So now what we're going to do is take our zip ties, and I like to go under the board with these. And I'm just going to go use the single hole at the very end. Well, actually that one I'm not, well, maybe I can get it under there. I'm not going to be able to get it under there with the single hole. Let me see. Maybe I can go this way. There we go. And remember, we're upside down, so you want the right side of your petals showing. And I'm going to do the 2 holes next to each other, and then we'll just kind of spread them out a little bit. And we just have those rubber bands just to kind of help us hold it. Actually, you know what? Sorry, I'm going to take these off. We need to go through this end here because it's not going to hold it like that. So we're just going to go through that end like that and then use the zip tie. So if something happens to that rubber band, it's not going to pop off on you. And I have to get some more zip ties. Yeah, Instagram is probably my hardest platform to grow. I'm not an Instagram person, but I know that I have to use it too. And it's just not my, everyone has their own favorite platform, but sometimes we have to use the one, use them all. But yeah, Facebook's my thing. I know some people are either all Instagram or all Facebook, but I would definitely focus on your favorite platform, but don't forget about those other platforms as well. That's why I'll still put reels on Instagram. I'm slowly growing, but it's nothing like my Facebook growth at all. So I like to just kind of scatter these. So we'll do something like something here and then over here. Yeah, Facebook and YouTube are my favorite platforms. But I am on TikTok too, and I used to love TikTok and do tons of TikTok, but that one, it's just kind of, haven't really been focusing on that as much as I should. So I really have to start adding more focus into, I need to add more love into the TikTok and the Instagram. And Angela, yes, Pinterest is, I would say Pinterest is probably the best platform if you're trying to get more eyes on your stuff and to drive people to. That's another one I'm slacking on right now too. I really got to get back to doing my pins on Pinterest, because that Pinterest, people forget about Pinterest, and Pinterest, it's another search engine. It's another, you know, people are on Pinterest, and you can add links in Pinterest to take you to, you know, whether you're wherever you're selling your wreath, if it's your website, if it's your you know, I'll put the link to my YouTube channel to have people go to my YouTube channel. But yeah, I really have been slacking on Pinterest, and I need to make that priority for sure. But I'm not doing too bad. I think I have like 104,000 or something like that. So I mean, it's not. I keep forgetting to go through that middle. I was on a big roll for a while, and then I just kind of stopped. I stopped on that. But I have been trying hard with the to add, you know, try to get some more pins on there. It's just hard to keep up with all of them, but yeah, I've never done Linktree. Oh yeah, your Linktree. Yes, yes. I don't have, that's another thing I have to work on. I have, it's not Linktree, but it's something like Linktree. Links VIP or something. But which, yeah, that is neat too, because you can they can pick which platform they want to go to and find you there. But it's so cool that you can pick links, and people forget about, that's an important way to grow and to sell, is using Pinterest. Yeah, Shannon, you're not big, yeah, on Instagram either. I'll like throw, like I have a kind of like a pattern that I'll do, you know, when I do my reels, I'll put my reel up on Facebook. I'll put it up on on Instagram. And then I get lazy on the rest, but I really need to. But I have noticed I grew for like 2 people on Instagram. So it's like so hard to grow on Instagram. I think that's why I don't like it, because it doesn't give you that reward like you get from Facebook when you actually see your channel grow. All right, so we have our leaves. And you, at this point, you know, you can play around with these if you want to kind of double them up, or, you know, have them go closer together, whatever you want to do with those leaves. And then I got, let's see here. These are really fun. You can just add some fun little finishing things on them. I got the butterflies from Hobby Lobby. And I also got the dragonflies. So I thought I would add a dragonfly since I added the butterflies on my other ones. Instagram and our buddies. I don't like it either. Yes, you're right, Ray of Sunshine. That's why you have to use all the different platforms, because everybody has a favorite platform. And yeah, so you might reach somebody that's not on Facebook by doing your stuff on Instagram or doing your stuff on TikTok. That's exactly right. That's why you have to force yourself to use all the platforms as marketing. I mean, you really do. Some people are just on TikTok. Some people are just on Pinterest. So, you know. What did you order, Shannon? Did you order the I know. I think that these dragonflies are going to be so cute. For asking my worth for a client lately, they accepted the quote. Well, yeah, exactly, Ray of Sunshine. And experience is, you know, that's worth something too. You're given a quality product, you know, and that's worth paying the price for too. I don't think anybody should sacrifice their prices. Yeah, it definitely depends on your personality and what platform you like. Yep. I'm old school. I think that's why I like Facebook, but you know, TikTok is fun. I just have to put more time into it because I am monetized on TikTok, but it's hard to get on that FYI or for you page, and there's all these rules like to be able to make money, and it's like, but you have to be on that FYP page to make money, and then it's like it's just so much to learn how to do it. But you know, I throw stuff on there too. I've just been really lazy lately because usually to monetize you have to be over 60 seconds. You can't be under 60 seconds on the like the videos and stuff. And then it has to make the FYP page. Or am I saying that wrong? For your page, yeah, FYP. Okay, so we're just going to, it has the little wire, so I mean we can just stick it in here wherever we want. We can hot glue it later. Let me see. Oh, the dragonfly looks cute. I like the dragonfly on there. The butterflies are really cute too. Maybe we'll add the other one too. Should we add two, or do you think just one? Yeah, For You page. It's hard to get on that For You page. I mean, I have been on there, and I actually had my pumpkin wreath went. I've had 2 viral wreaths in my crafting time here since I started my business that I was telling you about with the pumpkin. I had one that went viral on my regular Facebook page, which was really odd that happened. But what happened was I saw the results of what can happen when you go viral. And that's what my business coach always tells us, Julie, it just takes one reel. It just takes one reel. She pushes us to do all these things. And well, it took one reel, but it went viral on my regular page instead of my business page. So what happened was my regular page, that's why my regular page is at like 72,000. I only had my regular Facebook was just like close friends and family. I mean, it was maybe a few hundred people. It was nothing. And my regular Facebook page, because of that pumpkin wreath reel that went viral, it blew my Facebook up. Like it blew it up like crazy. And then that's when that page blew up. I grew. And then I sold tons of wreaths that year. And then so that's why I have to kind of work my regular page. I mean, I kind of tapered back because people don't want to see that on your regular page, but I still kind of have to work it like my business page because I have 72,000 followers. And so that happened. And then the other pumpkin reel, that it was the same reel. I just redid it. It went viral on TikTok. And I think it was at like 1.2 million or something. And then that was the second season that I had. I mean, it was, my Etsy store was blowing up. My tutorial blew up on YouTube because people were like, how do you make it? Where can I buy it? You know, some people wanted to make it, some people wanted to buy it. And so it does literally just takes one reel to go crazy. So yeah, that's why my personal page, it's at 72,000 because of that one reel. So we have our beautiful rose wreath completed. Oh, turbo's up. It's going to be time for walkie time. So it really is not that hard once you break it down and just take it petal by petal. And I hope that you had fun crafting or watching me craft this rose wreath, and that you will give this a shot. And I think this is be a great seller if you're trying to sell wreaths. And it's just a fun one. I have this in my house right now, and it just makes me happy. I have my fuchsia pink one, and I love it so much. So I'm just going to go through, and oh, good. I'm glad you got to make one. Oh, let me show you one thing real quick before we go for the ones that came later. This is the patriotic one that I'm releasing, my tutorial. I still have to add the stars, but this just gives you an example of what you can do if you do the two different colors. See the red and the white? Like I wanted to do a red and a yellow. I thought that would be beautiful, like a variegated rose. So there's a lot of options with this rose. And I hope that this made you want to make your own rose wreath. So if you have any ideas of what you want to see on my next live, just leave it in the comments. And it was really fun crafting with you all today. Excuse me. I know, Shannon, I'll just go through these comments real quick. I remember when your cat wreath went viral. I remember that. And you were making like tons of those cat wreaths. Everyone, like your comments were going crazy on that cat. How many of those did you end up selling? Because I know at one point you had all these different colors. Yep, that's all it takes. It just takes one post, one reel. That's why you got to keep plugging away and never giving up, because you never know when it's going to go crazy and those sales will start pouring in. All right, well, I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I'm going to try to start going live every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if there's anything that you'd like to see me make, just leave it in the comments, and I will come up with something fun for us to do next Thursday. So thank you. It was nice hanging out and crafting with y'all. Bye.